My name's Kylie Caldwell. I'm a Bundjalung artist from northern New South Wales, originally from Casino, but now living in Wallingbar on Widjabul land. I'm a artist, a creator. I like to explore different kinds of art forms, I guess, and I kind of sway in between from weaving to ceramics, and I play with a bit of textiles as well, having a bit a sewing background. And I tend to not do, like, I get bored easily, so I switch and change. And yeah, and really in my artwork it's quite experimental. Like, I tend not to do the same thing over and over, and really want to explore, where I'm feeling at the time in what I do in my work, and that comes out naturally and intuitively in my work. Yeah.
Well, and I think I think that's definitely makes sense of some of your works. They're so, they're really kind of experimental and kind of really push the boundaries on a few things. So which I think, obviously in our region, in the Southeast, I think that's something that is one of the things that really makes sense for us, is to explore those boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about your role also, as working for the regional arts in the area, but also, and then also Casino Wake Up Time as a group?
So I work with Arts Northern Rivers as an Indigenous Arts Officer. I work there. I've been there for about 18 months now, working with Indigenous artists across the Bundjalung Nation, supporting artists around their art practice, providing opportunities or leading them to opportunities in their creative fields. Also, in my work, supporting cultural practitioners and creative groups that we have across the region. We have such a beautiful range of artists that explore country, explore contemporary forms and themes. There's such a broad range of artists out there, and we've got a good mix of artists that are quite famous, and a really strong mix of local artists that have stayed connected to country and sell their works through the local community as well. Yeah.
And then also the establishment, of Casino Wake Up Time.
Yeah, so Casino Wake Up Time is a small collective of Aboriginal women from Casino. The group involves Jeanette Duncan, Margaret Torrens, Teresa Bolt, and myself. I've volunteered for the past 6 years in supporting this little creative on their ventures into, selling their works, producing their works, getting together and spending time. We've done weaving. They've been weaving. I learnt weaving through Casino Wake Up Time group. They've been weaving for over a decade now, and really wanting to share their skill across community and grow weaving culturally, because it's recently been reclaimed for the group. And they've done a lot of workshops across country, workshops in Sydney and Canberra and different areas across the state. They're a self-funded group. Often do things out of, in their own time. We know what it's like to run on nothing, and we never wait for anything. We just do it ourselves, and it's a really nice little group, and we take up opportunities where we can.
Yeah, no, and I think there's something about what you're saying too around those aunts being really strong, and they've already got major big family responsibilities. So for them to sort of actively choose to take on another cultural responsibility is such an important statement, I think, around their commitment to that process culture and to the community.
Yeah.
Which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, so the group, we're all passionate, Casino Wake Up Time, we're all passionate weavers. We love going out on country and collecting fibres. One particular fibre that we use is the bucky rush, which is, quite a vulnerable fibre because of our wetlands, and, most of our wetlands on the North Coast have been built up on, or there are only, small pockets of them around. So we're really cautious about interrupting that environment as well. So we, that's quite a special treasured fibre that we weave with and, want to kind of protect as well. So.
And this year you've worked with that fibre, both as an individual artist, but also I saw some of the group was working with that fibre again. Can you describe maybe some of the works that you have in this year?
Yeah, so the works that I've put in for Carriageworks are quite a eclectic range. I've got one natural fibre basket in the 10 items that I have, and that's made with bucky rush and lamandra. So we alternate between fibres. The main two fibres that we kind of work with is lamandra mat rush, which grows quite abundantly and can be found, all across Australia, especially along the east coast of Australia as well. The bucky rush is a fibre that grows primarily on the east coast of Australia, and it's wetland fibre as well. So some of the items that I've made, I've done a lamandra basket, and sometimes because when we're with our fibres, we start to use both fibres. So because we love weaving with the bucky rush, but because it's scarce and we don't want to interrupt the environment, we started, we use the core with lamandra and then weave with the bucky rush. And you can see in some of the baskets with Casino Wake Up Time that they have a mix of both fibres and some with just, one fibre as well. It's a process that's time consuming. It's a process, that you spend a day picking, and then you have to wait for them to dry, and then you have to rehydrate and then to weave. Casino Wake Up Time take time in their weaving. It's not a process that they have to, make a basket and they do it in a day. It can take weeks for a basket to be done. Time and care and love goes into making those, beautiful woven items. In my collection, I've got, I've been doing earrings as well. I like a bit of fashion and do, raffia earrings and coloured earrings, as well as a, natural. I've got a natural bucky rush earring in there, which was that design was one of my first prototypes of an earring when I started to kind of explore bringing weaving into jewellery. And then just looking at different shapes and different colours. I've got a couple of hats that I've made from remnant fabrics that I've collected over the years, and just exploring that sewing side as well. And also in my range, there's a few ceramic, one-off ceramic pieces. Yeah,
I was going to ask you about that, exploring ceramics and how you're creating those and what process you're going through.
Yeah, so with my ceramics, I usually do them in batches. So I may make, so I hand build, and I might spend a day or two just hand building, 10 pieces, and then they're kind of wrapped to keep them wet because I don't want them to dry out. And then I'll work on maybe 3 at a time, painting them with glaze, and then sometimes I'll do some carving on them, or repeated designs as well. And then they're gone. I don't have a kiln at the moment, so I'm borrowing a kiln, so they get transported in the car for 20 minutes to where I get them fired and back home. So they do a bit of a trip as well. And yeah.
And even though it's a different material, what's really beautiful, in particular, I'm thinking of one work which is obviously speaks really closely to the woven forms as well, that design that you've sort of carved into them. So there's still a conversation across the mediums.
Yeah, definitely there's a conversation across the mediums. Some of my ceramic works are inspired by the weaving. So yes, there's definitely a conversation between my woven works and ceramics works. I've been exploring, I think, in the last year of doing some, vessel shapes inspired by weaving, and looking at transferring that pattern and that design and through that ceramics works. Yeah.
And I guess, as I was saying, one of the major drivers for the market has been connecting with audiences and getting to tell our story so people become more aware of the Southeast and some of the practices. I was keen to just ask you maybe what you think one of the most important things about the Southeast and where we come from as Aboriginal people and what we have to share with mainstream audiences.
Yeah, I think the Southeast is a place that's undervalued. I think there's such a kaleidoscope of artists and community that are really strong in culture, strong in our connections to land, and really supportive of each other. I think there's a uniqueness and that we're really strong on working, presenting or portraying in our arts who we are and where we come from. Whether that's from a traditional or from a contemporary perspective, it's about our lived experiences as well. Yeah.
That's great. And then I guess I was keen to see if you had any reflections on some of the benefits that you or the group have had coming to the markets. I definitely know, with the aunts, they've slowly, I feel like every year we get to meet and every year we get to know them a little bit more and they sort of open up a lot more, which has been a really fantastic part of, definitely from our end, getting to know everyone a lot better. But I wondered if there were some benefits that you've seen for either your own work or the aunts' work.
Yeah, so participating in the markets, we've done it now for 4 years. The first 2 years, at Carriageworks and the last 2 years online. It's been quite beneficial both for myself and Casino Wake Up Time group. It's, given us more confidence in our work, made us want to look at more how we present our work. But I think what the aunties really enjoy about is getting to know, the curators like Jonathan and Hetty, all the other artists that involved with, developed quite strong relationships and still continue to connect beyond the markets, in between as well. And just being able to see a group of Aboriginal artists from the East Coast all together, representing our respective countries has just been amazing for us all. And, it's something that we look forward to each year and know it's coming and work towards it.
And I guess I was keen to sort of, just acknowledge that, because one of the amazing things that's come out is you guys working with Penny Evans and the connection between the group and Penny. And I just was wondering if you could describe that project and how that sort of came about and where it led to.
So through the markets, and our connection with Penny Evans is that's where I did one day ceramics workshop with Penny. So she kind of helped me introduce me to ceramics. And through that connection and through going to the markets, Penny and Janelle and Margot and Teresa really developed a strong relationship, and we've been friends. Penny will come to our, weaving workshops. We're always connecting to each other. She's involved with us planning around the Biennale of Sydney, Casino Wake Up Times involved in next year's Biennale of Sydney. And so we've been chatting with her around ideas and, what we're going to make for our large installation. We've also connected with Kylie McNamara that does those beautiful floral prints. And, there was a really nice connection between her and Teresa just around something Teresa was going through. And it's just funny, those little, signs that, that I think Aboriginal people have this intuition and, these, I don't know, Kylie was, there was an eagle, which is representing something strongly for Teresa and how they connected through that. And that was at our very first market as well. And
And I think that's the one thing, yeah, for me, especially is working on the project, is that we're not, obviously the financial kind of benefits is really important, but it's all the kind of cultural and networking and community benefits that we gain, because I don't think there's that many opportunities for us as Southeast people to get together and to share that knowledge or share those experiences and sort of reawaken those connections. So I'm really hoping, yeah, next year we can all be together again and continue those live connections, which is great.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.